We're going to start off a little different today. Today, we're going to start off with a poem. I'm a man of many talents. I have a poem that I'm going to start off with. It's called Sitting in Gorilla. By the way, I am officially drinking the unofficial drink of Smart Tank Revolution today, which is water with a little touch of lemon. Water and lemon. Get it at any grocery store, or hell, get it out of your own faucets. Water and lemon. Anyway, it's poem time. This poem is called Sitting in Gorilla. Sitting in Gorilla, headphones tightly adjusted, Bruce Pritchard to my left, laughs and chuckles all around. It's the 11th hour. Reviewing the show format, I toss out the clipboard. Days of preparation down the drain. Suddenly, my uncanny genius appears to save the day. Last minute changes, pandemonium, forced pushes while meticulously monitoring Michael Cole and feeding him things to say. No more title matches. They are now called title opportunities. That's good shit, pal. Welcome back to the Smart Tank Revolution, where we always kick out at 2. I am the always gracious, benevolent, intelligent Mr. Donnie Wonderful, and welcome back to the Essentials, Part 7. Now, following the Essentials Part 5, the Owen Hart review, I mentioned that you guys are going to be surprised by who I would pick next to cover for this installment here that we're doing, how we're rating wrestlers. And I must tell you, I did not have Mr. McMahon in mind. Let me give you a quick origin story to where this development derived from. As you may or may not know, Mr. Donnie Wonderful here. I'm a huge avid Bret Hart fan, and I just recently saw an interview. Well, I guess Bret Hart was speaking on a panel. No, it was just an interview with a live audience present, and he got really emotional when he discussed his match at WrestleMania 26 with Mr. McMahon, and he touched on some points. If I can be serious here, he touched on everything that led up to it that occurred off camera. You know, with his health issues and the limitations there. And here at Smart Tank Revolution, we also have a playlist. We started about a year ago, a year and a half ago, where we were. It's called Retromania, where we would rank or discuss the matches that happened at WrestleMania in chronological order. And I specifically couldn't wait for us to get to WrestleMania 26 so I can talk about this match right here. Bret Hart versus Mr. McMahon. The reason why is because, of course, we didn't expect a five-star classic, the Bret Hart's Owen, Bret Hart Austin, Bret Hart Shawn. No, Bret Hart at the time, I believe, was about 52. Recovering from a stroke, limited capabilities in the ring, limited physical abilities. They had the Lloyds of London deal, health insurance. So he even says it in the interview where, he couldn't fall backward. There's a lot of things that he couldn't do. And on top of that, the healthiest wrestler out of the two was Vince McMahon, who was well into his late 60s. But the part that I wanted to always argue about and highlight was that this was a real situation that happened between the two. Now they made up, I believe, 8 years prior to that, but still, up until that time, you've never seen the character Mr. McMahon and Bret Hart actually interact with each other up until that point or that year. So I thought that that was always interesting. And plus, like I said, if I had to book it, it would be a squash match. I know we all loved Austin and Mr. McMahon. Everybody wanted to beat up their boss, but damn it, like the reason why this character is here is because of a real life situation. So behind the scenes, they're good, but on camera, let's see Bret Hart literally kick the shit out of Mr. McMahon. You deserve it. Oh, Bret schooled Bret? Okay, here. My whole family's here to make sure you can't run. And that's exactly how I would have booked it. I wouldn't have scored it, but I at least would have came to the rescue, because this match gets a lot of criticism. You know, oh, it's yeah, it's a squash match. Yeah, don't rate it. But I mean, let's appreciate what we actually saw here. But getting back to the interview, you know, Bret was saying he was in a wheelchair. He didn't know he'd be able to even walk again. And he's getting choked up walking that long 80-yard aisle down to the ring. He never thought he was going to do that again. I appreciated that. And then I said, well, you know what? We already did Bret Hart. Plus, every one of our episodes on Smart Take Revolution, we have at least like one gag video, or not gag video, but you know, like it was one match that we ranked. We're like, you know, yeah, we really weren't paying attention. It was more of a joking type of feel and atmosphere. I said this is going to be a perfect one because Vince McMahon is not a wrestler, not a professional wrestler, but yet we can still rank him with our rating scales. One of them, which comes from Bret Hart's his autobiography, my cartoon, my real life in the cartoon world of wrestling, and then you know, Smart Take Revolution. We have our own unique rating scale, and all will be listed in the description. So, with that being said, let's dive into rating Mr. McMahon, the character. Or hell, let's rate Vince McMahon. He's an on camera talent. This probably it won't even take so long, or maybe it will, because we're very tangential here. So, in Bret Hart's evaluation of wrestlers, we ranked them from 1 to 10 as he did. Three categories: a wrestler's look, the promo ability, and the in-ring work. And I absolutely love this because one of these is going to be a solid one. Or should be a solid one. No disrespect, Vince, if you get a chance to listen to this. No disrespect. You know we love you. You know, we share the same. Your first name is my middle name. We love it. Anyway, so we're going to begin here with the wrestler's look, their physique, appearance, and presentation. Undoubtedly, Vince McMahon gets a perfect 10 from me. And here's why. Vince McMahon was jacked to the gills in his 50s. I'm far from that in age. But when I'm Vince McMahon's age, I would like to look how he did. Look at the attitude era of Mr. McMahon. Look at him. I mean, he had to be in his mid to late 50s. Look at how he looked. I'm not, you know, like no steroid scandal, all that stuff is out the window, yada, 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 whatever. Like Vince McMahon looked great. Look at the pictures of him. I mean, muscle magazines. And by that time, I think he was in his 60s by the time he did that. So just off the strength of him looking that jacked in his golden years, he's going to get a 10 for me. I don't, you know, the appearance, I mean, he owns the company. You're the boss. You can do whatever you want. Not to mention, I mean, he does have some fantastic shirt and tie coordinations with his suits. You know, like I'm pretty sure that you know he could have been on the cover of GQ magazine equally as well as the Muscle magazine. So I don't have no problem with his look. 10, the promo ability. I mean, the best promos come from the promoters. I think. Look at Paul Heyman, probably one of the best on the stick, if not the best on the stick. But do you put him in the same category as the wrestlers? See, like whenever you have to talk about, you know, stipulations like that with talent, they're pretty special. I've never heard Eric Bischoff sound terrible on a promo or an interview. Same thing with Vince McMahon. I have to give him a perfect 10 here. Not to mention that nowadays the promos that we love on the WWE side, he pretty much commands those. So give. Mm, no, I'm gonna stick with that 10. I'm gonna stick with the 10. This is all impromptu, by the way. I'm gonna stick with the 10 there. So he's doing really well on Bret Hart's scale right now. And then we get to the in-ring work. He's not a wrestler. So for the first time in the essentials, the very first time, I'm gonna rank somebody a 1. A 1. I don't know if what Vince would have looked like in his 20s, 30s in the ring, you know, 40s. This was pretty much a novelty act here. Um, the Max Stunner was his finisher, which was a spoof off of his greatest rival by far. I do give him credit, in my opinion, for being um, the greatest heel to ever perform in the ring. Everybody hated it at one point, not everybody, but I'm just saying that everybody at one point should have wanted to slap their bosses. And we got the chance to see Stone Cold do that over and over and over and over, and he just kept coming back. But by no means, I mean, was his ring work anything to talk about. I've never went to school in the Attitude Era and spoke about, hey, did you see that match with Vince and, enter a wrestler here? But at that time, it was mainly revolving around Stone Cold Steve Austin. Never mentioned Vince McMahon's in-ring work, and I'm pretty sure that he would even tell you that. So that was one of the reasons why I wanted to do this one. I mean, for the first time, we have a first lowest rated score on the Bret Hart side of the wrestling ratings, and we're gonna move right along to the our Smart Tank Revolutions exclusive wrestling rankings. We also rank 3 categories, but from a 1 to 5 scale. Yeah, our scoring's really tough. And we rank innovative effectiveness, which is the ability to work as a babyface or heel, the classic matches and classic rivalries. For Vince McMahon, this is going to be interesting. And the defining and redefining moment, which again for Vince McMahon, for the talent that I'm ranking here, is open to perspectives. So let's get right into it. The innovative effectiveness is the ability to work as a babyface or a heel. From 1 to 5, I think our rating system, we can give more immunity and also deduct from certain things. Vince McMahon, I just mentioned that, in my opinion, he's tied for like the greatest heel. So, we can go a perfect 5 here. But Vince McMahon as a babyface, as a fair babyface, technically we were able to see that before it was known to the public or on camera that he was running things. So we've actually seen him as a babyface. I used to love Vince McMahon as a commentator. Those Monday Night Raws where it was the Vince and the King were, to me, just a grade under JR and the King, if not actually equal for the era that it was in. Vince McMahon and Shawn Michaels doing commentary in 94, 95. Phenomenal. That's an example of, in my opinion, babyface Vince. But we didn't know that now. So does that change the rating in your mind? Should we take off a point because we're really essentially ranking Vince McMahon from 1997 on? See, open a perception here, perspective. Yeah, perception too. This is actually like Final Jeopardy to me. So you know what? If I'm confused, I'm just gonna stick right in the middle. I want to go from a 5 to a 3, but I still want to give him more of the edge. I have more of a glass half full thought process on this than anything else. So why not a 3.5? 3.5. 3.5 for innovative effectiveness. Hmm. All right, so classic matches and classic rivalries, or classic matches slash classic rivalries, in which we talk about both of them. Now, classic matches, in my opinion, Vince has none. But classic rivalries is what makes made the Attitude Era. So where do we go from there? One of them's a one versus one of them's a five. One of them's defining. And that's even before we even get to the third category. So when we talk about Vince McMahon, the character, the on-camera character from 1997 on, he's strong in one and the lowest of the low in the other. So how would you rank that? Could you go in between? A three would be suitable here. I think him and Austin is enough. That's Hall of Fame worthy stuff right there. But he's had some good matches. Just none of them have been classic. It's the man. See, I was gonna use another reference to a superstar in another sport, like when they get older, how they're still able to perform, but we've never seen Vince perform in ring until about 1998. And like when was his prime? His prime has particularly been in the office. Like the whole extravaganza of WrestleMania, the mind behind all of it. But we're not necessarily judging that here. So this has actually become more of a of a mental mind battle of where to actually score them. Classic matches. Let me think. I liked Vince and Shawn. I liked Hogan and Vince. I liked the tag matches that him and Shane had, or tag match him and Shane versus Hunter and Shawn. Like those were entertaining to watch, and they've all done a great job. Um, but classic, mm, I wouldn't put it there. So you know what? Just to be on the safe side, just to give both sides its equal props, the classic matches are one, the classic rivalries are five. I'm just gonna go three. So 6.5 so far. And then the defining and redefining moments, which is completely open to however you interpret it. This is where he's gonna shine here. The defining and redefining moments. Well, just look at the promotion itself, WWE. So this kind of changes for Vince. The character, Mr. McMahon, is he's still prevalent, I guess. But the mastermind, the actual man himself, Vince McMahon, deserves some props here. Um, Segregating the two makes it even more difficult to even try to rate this, in my opinion. What has the character? What is the a defining moment of the character, Mr. McMahon? Bringing in Mike Tyson, was he Mr. McMahon then? He wasn't all the way Mr. McMahon, but like that he was getting there. Like and that was pretty much the genesis of it, in my opinion. Well, following the Bret screwed Bret, and him getting booed, and the universe really turning on him, and them being smart enough to say, hey, let's run with this. you know there's obviously there's nothing prepared when we record these, so I love it. I actually, what you're hearing is a real time thought process of on how to rate this guy. um Again, we have to, I have to factor in the fact that he's the mastermind behind, or the brilliance behind, sports entertainment. There's tons of defining moments. We're about 2 weeks away from one, WrestleMania. So, I guess, just to be fair, because I have no idea where to start or conclude, I'm gonna be safe and rate them a three, 9.5 on ours. 3.5, 3 and 3. this was fun. I just wanted to throw this one in there. Next, we have coming up on the essentials. I know my co-host, Mr. Joey Business, wants to do Edge. I'm interested and curious to hear how he ranks Edge, and well, I guess we can let you all know what you can expect down the pipeline on this playlist. So again, I mentioned episode 5, and if you haven't, please go back and listen to all of them, including the Razor Ramon Scott Hall one, which was really great. Joey did a really great job on Cody Rhodes and Bret Hart. I can't applaud his genius enough. But the one that I alluded to that was going to be a shocker, a surpriser to many, I guess, including myself. I don't think anybody would see an essentials where we rank Jerry the King Lawler coming, but that's coming up as well. Jerry Lawler has a wealth of history, and he can work. So how will Donnie Wonderful rank him? And then we have Jeff Jarrett. That should be an interesting one for you guys. So, Edge, Jerry Lawler, Jeff Jarrett. I have no idea on which order they're going to come up in, but you can look out for those next. Or, if something else happens, somebody jumps ship from promotion, you might get that one. It's really impromptu here. And we listen to the people, the voices of the people. Like it says in our banner, we are the know. And boy, do we know. Well, this has been The Essentials. I'm Donnie Wonderful. Thanks for listening.